Does anyone want to read some of the beautiful things that come out of listening and disclosing?
Oh, well, no judgment, breaking shame, building trust, hope, courage to change, willingness, inspiration, motivation, greater honesty, openness, truth, vulnerability, the peer specialists and the other persons learn about each other, the person being served, identifying and working towards their goals, the person finding their own solution.
Can anyone give me an example of a time when you listened to someone and then they figured out what they want to do? Anyone want to give me an example? No? I know y'all have been there. You don't tell them, you don't give them advice, but by listening to them, they think,
So there's like power, and I was just trying to give somebody else a chance. I'm not trying to take up the whole thing. Like the power, you know, like sometimes people just need like a sounding board. You know, sometimes they just need to hear themselves say it out. No, a lot of times that we all just need to be able to say it out loud, and that process of elimination and our creative juices get flowing, and we start coming up with these ideas, or we hear that and that sounds ridiculous, and like we hear this and then this triggers this idea, and oh, I remember somebody said something about that before, and then oh my gosh, I could try that for sure. And it's just like a lot of times it's people really just need a safe space. I can't think of a particular it happens all the time. I have 5 sponsees that I like to use that with a lot, you know, asking a person like, are you seeking comfort or are you seeking a solution? And a lot of times people are just seeking comfort. Like they just want to be able to say whatever it is they need to say. And when they have that safe space and there's no judgment and there's no ridicule and there's no criticism, there isn't, I was telling Jennifer, like I'm the queen of unsolicited advice. Like it's definitely one of my things that I have to like really work on. So like when somebody knows that it's they're running the show and like they're the main actor of that stage and like they take their power back and they're in control of their decisions, and it's so empowering for people, and it really like it just raises their whole energetic vibration into that momentum of like go mode. So
I mean, I can tell you a recent example for me, which is someone called me who's in one of the trainings, and she's scared because she didn't turn in some assignments. She wanted to make sure she would be able to finish. And she wanted to let me know that she had her medication, her psych meds adjusted recently, and she's not doing very well. And she knows she's not doing very well. And she asked me advice. She said, what should I do? And like, I'm not a doctor. I really don't know a lot about psych meds. And I definitely don't know about her psych meds. And so I want to stay out of that place where I'm giving someone advice, but I also want to be supportive. So how do I do that? This is one of the dilemmas. But by listening to her, she decided, you know, I think I'm going to go back to my primary physician who I trust, and I'm going to ask him to look at my whole chart and see what's going on. Like she came up with that. You know what I mean? Like it wasn't, and then she thanked me. And I kind of thought to myself, oh, well, I didn't really do anything, but what I did, and it's sometimes hard for me to see what I'm doing, but I listened to her, and I would ask questions. I would be like, so how did you handle that before when that happened? Because she's been through this before where she's had problems with her psych meds and they needed to be adjusted. And I said, no, you're resilient, and you've had the same mental health diagnosis for a long time. How did you handle this before? And she would talk about that. And I was like, well, how did that go for you? And she would talk about that. And so as she started to put the pieces together, she came up with an answer. To me, this is a very powerful kind of listening and disclosing.